If you are enjoying this podcast and other podcasts on the Dragon Wagon Radio Network, be sure to check out the Dragon Wagon Shop. Awesome t-shirts and mugs from your favorite shows so you can tout your podcast pride, all while supporting your favorite indie podcast network. And make sure to check it often for new items and limited time designs. So shop now at dragonwagonshop.com and get your dragon swag on.
In a mythical land of magic beasts and blades known as Burbank, California, an independent podcast network sets off for the greatest adventure of their pitiful lives. This is Dungeons and Dragon Wagon.
And welcome to Dungeons and Dragon Wagon, the Rhyme or Reason, a D&D inspired homebrew role-playing game recorded and released out into the world for your entertainment. And of course, we want you to listen to the show in whichever way you like, but it is best in headphones, the best experience in headphones if you can do that. My name is Jake Lloyd. I'm an actor and filmmaker and host of podcasts like Elaborate and What the Heckonomics. Find me on Twitter at Liquid Jake, on Instagram at Jake Lloyd, and I am playing the half-orc fighter named Junk. Say hi, Junk. Hey, how's it going, little buddy? Not too shabby. Hey, would you like a piece of beef pot pie? You know what? That looks absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, Junk. Yeah, no sweat. But of course, I am not here alone. I am here with my acquaintances in adventure. To my left, she is a writer, a poet, and a friend to the animals. Find her on Twitter and Instagram at Alexandra Hoy. It's Alexandra Hoy.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey. That was a little low energy here. Let's try that again. Alexandra Hoy.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, it's another early morning recording. We said we were going to stop doing this.
We did.
But we didn't.
No.
But you know what we did do? We cleaned out all of our closets in our apartment.
We did. We spent the last 3 days.
And I feel like you and I are like more suited to be cooperative in a D&D game now.
You think?
Because we've been through the shit.
You can thank Marie Kondo.
Oh.
And I will.
Oh, no. And of course, Alexandra is playing the human ranger, Adeline. Say hi, Adeline.
What's up?
Wow, you're in a good mood.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
How are you feeling after that bender?
Which one?
Fair enough. To Alexandra's left, he is the man with no foe. He is a writer and a director and a man who is as tall as he is a proud cat dad. Find him on Twitter at Matt_Hingstman and on Instagram at mHingstman. It's Matt Hingstman.
Hello.
How are you doing this fine morning?
I'm good. I'm a happy cat daddy.
You are a happy cat dad. Matt, you walked in this morning with a bowl of oatmeal, and I don't mean like a to-go Jamba Juice plastic and or cardboard. You walked in with
it wasn't goat meal.
No, it was a ceramic bowl from home with a fork from home. And it might be the weirdest thing.
Hold on, a fork?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
A hand-whittled fork.
A bowl.
Excuse me?
It's just so bizarre. And of course, he is playing the Shadow Elf Rogue Matson. Say hi, Matson.
Hi.
Matson, how are you doing this fine day?
Ready to get going.
Good, great, awesome. I like the energy. That's why we call you Ready to Go, Matson. And of course, as you've already heard, there's a voice among us that you might not be familiar with, but I hope you are familiar with, because our guest of quest for this chapter, she's an actress, producer, host, and role player. Maybe you know her from Saving Throw, Geek and Sundry, Team Alpha. You can find her on Twitter and Instagram at Havanarama, as well as twitch.tv/Vanna. It's Havana Mahoney.
Oh, hi.
How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
showing
for
up
being
on an
here.
early Monday morning.
I want you to know how hard this was for me.
You're heard, and we appreciate you.
Thank you. I want you to know I hear you appreciating me, and I appreciate you for appreciating me.
I am so excited right now. You have a rich history with role-playing games and D&D?
Yeah, I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons since sophomore year of high school.
Wow.
So it was like me and another kid my age, and then like 5 40-year-old men in like it was like a comic book shop in the attic of like this ancient building.
Wow.
And it was a weird experience, but wouldn't change a thing.
Nice. Well, I am incredibly excited to dive into it with you and to learn about who you are playing. And in order to do that, we have to hand the reins off to our fearless leader. He is the god and creator of these lands. He is a writer and sketch improviser, the host of Myth Understood. Find him on Instagram at @ThePaulBianchi. It is our fearless DM, Paul Bianchi.
Hey, everyone. I love waking up early in the morning, especially when I was on set all the day before going into overtime. So let's see how this goes.
Yeah, this will be fun. I have to say, before we dive into it, if you're the type of person who only listens to the main chapters and you don't listen to the roundtables or any of the bonus stuff, you absolutely should, because since our last chapter, we had a little outing in Sansi Village in which we got to enchant some stuff. We bought some stuff, and Adeline had a very fun experience with her half-brother Finferral. So make sure you're listening to the roundtables as well as the bonus content at D&DWpod.com.
Well, I'm really excited to jump back in. So we're going to jump into chapter 8.1, Still Waters Run Deep. And away we go. The Sansi River is the greatest in all of Rymor. Deep, blue, and wide, it severs Shell's Basin from the eastern lands of Fjormire. As it cuts south, the river forks. The East Sansi River speeds strenuously towards the Shuddering Gulf, while the West Sansi River trickles lazily through swampland and Lake Pheris. On a crude skiff made from bound planks of elf cork, Adeline waved goodbye to her half-brother Fenfarel and commenced a difficult journey south with Matson, Junk, and Orny. After 2 days of travel, they followed the West Sansi River towards Lake Pheris. It's early morning on the third day. Lightning bugs and dragonflies dance in the air. Guiding the skiff with a long oar, Kelber Orny stands on the back like a gondolaman. And as such, he has broken into song. Oh, Sansi River, where the geese and marmots play, where trees grow high and moss hangs low on the banks of the Sansi River. And when you find Old Pheris Lake, past the fork in the Sansi River, veering west is a mistake. Mongrel will eat your liver.
Wait, what?
Though east is crueler, Venom's horde of stings will take your breath. So pass right through and let the whirlpool drag you to your death. Where you'll die when you drown at the bottom of Pheris Lake. Old Sansi River, where the geese and marmots play, where trees grow high and moss hangs low on the banks of the Sansi River.
Wow, you know, Orny, you've sang us a lot of songs. That one might be the most beautiful.
Holy hell. Orny, at this point, I've come to take every single one of your songs completely literally, so are we just floating towards our imminent deaths?
Oh, yes, quite possibly. Yes, Pheris Lake has dangers on its left side, on its right side, and traveling right through the middle leads you through a whirlpool.
Well, I don't know what a whirlpool is, but it sounds kind of fun.
Oh, it's not. Would you pass me a carrot?
Yeah, here you go.
He pulls out his satchel and pulls a carrot out, and inside of it, he also pulls out a little loaf of bread.
Oh, thank you.
All right,
Yeah.
a little loaf of bread here.
Adeline, I need to thank you again for having a surprise half-brother who left us with a care package on this difficult journey.
Yeah, it's really nice of him. This
Yeah.
bread is really good.
He's pretty great.
As you're eating this bread, I need you to roll a clumsy check for me.
For bread? It's a 10?
When Junk bites into this piece of bread, he notices that there's something hard in the center of it, and you successfully notice this without hurting yourself.
Well, there's something in this bread.
And he pulls it back and he starts pulling chunks of bread off to try to find out what's in it.
And in doing this, you notice that there is the hilt of a knife wrapped in a piece of paper.
Whoa, there's a blade inside this banana bread. That baker better beware. Blunders like this are bound to be bad for business.
Chunk,
I want to roll to examine the knife further. 12?
As you peel away bread, you notice it's just the hilt of a knife. In fact, it's the hilt of the spirit blade that you found in Falkry.
Whoa, what are the odds of that? It's Fenfarrel's fake dad's ghost knife.
Oh, wow.
No, Junk, it's called the Spirit Blade.
Oh, you know what? I bet I know what happened. I bet the village baker stole it from Fenfarrell, but then accidentally baked it into this bread, which he then sold to Fenfarrell, who gave it to us, not even knowing. We should probably go back and return it to him. He's going to be pissed.
Junk, I sincerely doubt that is what happened. Fenfarrell was adamant we take these gifts, and, he's quite the purposeful fellow.
Perhaps we should take a look at the piece of paper that came with it.
Junk was just about to eat the piece of paper, so he's very glad that Orny said that.
Matson grabs the paper and takes a look at it and opens it.
It is a handwritten letter from Finferrell, and it reads,
Master Matson, how are you? I am fine. I baked this into a loaf of bread as a fun surprise on your journey. As it turns out, my father, Rathiel, you remember him? He wanted you to have the ghost knife. He said he detected a spirit at your side, and that the spirit's presence would make the knife function in a unique way. Very mysterious, but do not worry. Father has more than one ghost knife. Take care of Adeline for me. Safe travels, my friend. And Sokka says hi.
It is indeed from Fenfarrell. Adeline, he gives his best, but he says his father wanted me to have the spirit blade.
Oh. I mean, I thought maybe since I was the one that had the bread and finders keepers, but I guess if he wanted you to have it, he probably knows best.
You can keep the bread.
Oh, okay, all right, that's fair, that's fair.
And he hands over the spirit blade.
The instant Matson wraps his finger around the hilt, a 12-inch blade made of energy forms where the metal blade would normally be. It glows translucent orange like the spirit that has come to your aid on so many occasions, and it fills you with a similar sense.
Whoa!
Matson is excited at the prospect of having this knife, but also a little nervous because he still isn't totally on board with the spirit that is helping him.
Before you could even process what the spirit blade might even mean for you, you hear a commotion from the left side of the raft. On the eastern bank of the river, there is a violent scene. A small boat has been torn in two, as has an elfin woman whose legs are separate from her torso. A woman wielding a rope dart is attempting to fend off a monstrous crocodile-like creature. This frost-tipped mercadile, to be exact, with razor-sharp jaws and a thrashing spiked tail.
Holy hell, let's go over there and help this woman.
Junk turns to Orny, who's guiding the skiff.
Quick, Orny, get us over there.
I'm working on it.
Junk, maybe you should help him?
Oh, yeah, sure thing. I got this.
And Junk rushes over to Orny and abruptly picks Orny up.
Yeah,
as if that helps.
Orny continues to steer vigorously. You've noticed that he has on his hands some ink that he has drawn symbols on his hands, and he's like one-handed. He's licking the ink off. Hold on, I used. I thought we were going to travel a certain way, and this is a ink of directional intent that I put on my hands. I'm just trying to wash it off.
Here,
so
hang
we
on.
can actually
And seeing what he's doing, Junk grabs Orny's little hand, still holding Orny up, and licks Orny's hand to get all the rest of the ink off of it.
We've never been closer.
I like to think that Junk has a very rough cat tongue, and the ink comes off very considerably, and then the boat starts to steer now towards the shore now that his directional intent has washed away.
Good job, Orny. Also, in case anybody's curious, magic ink doesn't taste too bad, a little fruity.
As the party draws closer, they have a better look at the woman on the riverbank. She's wearing brown sleeveless traveler's clothes and a green headband with a gold ornamental eye in its center. Her short red hair is matted with swamp grime, and her steel gray eyes are fierce and determined rather than panicked.
Junk puts Orny back down onto the skiff and then pulls his brand new Warhound Warhammer off of his back, and he kisses its head as they approach the riverbank.
Yeah, you're a good little warhound. You're going to get to play today.
Oh, I am going to get to play. Thank you.
And as you reach the bank, everyone needs to roll for initiative.
8.
7 for Matson.
And 4 for Junk.
The raft makes contact with the shore as the mercadile happens to chomp down on the end of the woman's rope dart. Perhaps because he's very alert now after having his hands licked, Orny is the first to engage with the beast. He has a fire poultice at the ready, and he shouts,
Don't worry, I'll aim for his tail.
As promised, his fireburst poultice makes contact with the mercadile's tail, and he sets it ablaze for 10 damage. The Mercadile releases its grip on the woman's rope dart as it snarls in pain, which is good because it's her turn to act next.
All right, well then what she's going to do is use the momentum from pulling it out of the maw of the Mercadile and swing it back and up and around to try and whip it in the face. 12. 9.
The woman does this expertly, pulling her rope dart free. She swings it around. She's done this countless times. She uses her rope dart with great proficiency, and it cuts across the mouth webbing of the Mercadile for 12 damage, and it is Adeline's turn to act next.
Seeing the success of Orny's poultice, she decides to whip out one of her fire beetle gland arrows and aims for his body. 14 for 4.
Adeline loses her arrow, and it collides with the center of the beast's body. As it is a frost-tipped Mercadile, it actually does 50% more damage, so you end up doing 6 fire damage to the beast's belly, and it is Matson's turn to act.
Well, Matson is he's going to leap off of the boat and onto the bank, considers the spear blade for a moment, and thinks, I'm not going to waste it on this mere creature just yet. And so he takes out his brand new Soflin Dirks, and he's going to just go for a regular attack. 5 accuracy for 3 and 5.
I would say the decision of using the Spirit Blade versus his new blades distracted him a bit, and when Matson strikes at the creature, he misses with his first blade, and then strikes again with only a slight cut in the beast's very armored hide for only 2 damage. The tail is whipping, still on fire, and Matson barely escapes without getting burned by this lashing fire himself. And Junk.
Junk is a bit excited by the sight of this giant beast with a now flaming tail. And even he's more excited to use his new Warhammer. He rushes in for a giant overhead smash right down on top of its head. Oh, that is a 17 accuracy for 14 damage with a chance to stagger.
Well, Junk does a lot more than stagger. Junk brings his Warhammer down with great force, crushing the Mercadile's skull.
Yeah.
Brains sort of fly out in every direction, splattering people, goes through the fire, ends up cooked on the other side. And this beast is down and dead. And the party regroups.
Oh, good hustle, everyone.
Junk flicks Mercadile guts off of his fingers.
Is everybody all right?
I got a little singe, but I'm okay.
Yeah, you are.
And Orny gives him a little slap on the tush.
Yeah, all good, Junk.
Junk reaches down like he's going to slap Adeline on the tush.
Don't even think about it.
Okay, that's fair. You're right. It's weird. What about you? You okay, lady?
She is picking little bits of Mercadile brain out of her hair and looks over and nods in response.
In the shallows on the bank of the river, next to the torso of the severed woman, you spy a piece of paper in danger of floating downstream.
So she immediately catches that piece of paper floating out of the corner of her eye, and you see the rope dart out from under her cloak and stab at the piece of paper, attempting to grip it and bring it to her. That's a natural 20.
Nice.
With a skill the likes that no one has ever seen, especially with a roped weapon like this. Okay, it just shoots out towards the paper, and she pulls it back, and it detaches from the tip of the rope right before it reaches her hand, flutters up in the air, and she catches it gracefully with her other hand to examine the piece of paper.
Junk is completely wide-eyed. This was the coolest thing to him. And he glances down at that whip that he's been carrying ever since the cannibals and looks at it as if like, oh, I didn't know I could do that.
Matson wonders if she even needed our help in the first place after watching this feat.
So she reads this, not out loud.
For those listening at home, this is what the letter reads. Shuri, Rasa in all of her glory will reward you for your part in this deception. Bring the sacrifice to me at Rasa's sanctum. Wait for my arrival. Rasa's sanctum is no place for any who isn't her vessel. As the key to Rasa's undoing lies within, you must understand bringing an enemy inside is unwise. And remember, I must be the one to slay her. Signed, Ugata, the unvanquished champion of Rasa.
Junk breaks the awkward silence of all of us just standing here as she reads this note to herself.
So, what do you got there?
It's clear to the party that on the other side of the letter is a hand-drawn map, but no one in the party can make out any detail.
She eyes you up and down as you ask about the piece of paper and clutches it closer to her chest, looking at you warily.
All right. I'm a quiet type. That's okay.
Her eyes narrow.
That body in the water, was that a friend of yours?
When you say friend, you see a grimace across her face.
Okay, so not a friend. The dead lady is not the quiet lady's friend. All right, that's something. We're getting somewhere.
Well, pleased to meet you. My name is Orny, and this over here, this handsome brute, is Adeline, and this tall man over here is Junk, and
Junk tips his bowler hat.
he's got a little friendly squirrel on his shoulder. That's what's his name again?
Oh, that's Scampersan. You know his name. Don't pretend to not know his name.
I don't have a rapport. I don't talk to squirrels. And this shadow elf over here is Matson.
Yeah, he's quiet too. You'll like him.
We are traveling south towards Jorn with our raft. Since your boat is splinters, would you like to travel with us, however briefly? Perhaps keep each other safe from other mercadiles?
What's in it for you?
Oh, well, these are difficult, dark times. But just because they are dark times doesn't mean that there can't be room for human kindness.
What are you referring to?
Oh, I'd be surprised if this were news to you, but the gnomes of Brayfrost have committed crimes of war against the free people of Shell's Basin. Kelbana stones have been stolen. Commander Menshal is marching on Silverhammer. Necromancers might be raising giant god corpse. You know, we thought we might investigate what the fuck is going on down south.
It seems we might be on a similar trajectory.
Oh, can I ask your name?
My name is Ren.
Well, nice to meet you. Would you like a carrot? He still has his half-eaten carrot in his hand.
The whole time.
Ren eyes it suspiciously. And how am I supposed to know if I can trust any of you?
Listen, I'm not wearing my proper robes because I'm a bit in disguise right now, but I'm a Kelber.
Can you prove that without the robes?
I'm not sure how I would prove that without my robes.
While this is happening in true Junk fashion, he has meandered off just slightly away from the party, but he's still in earshot. He's in front of the mercadile, and he is examining it and opening its mouth, looking at its teeth.
As you have wandered a little bit away from the group, Scampersand whispers in your ear at this moment.
Hey, boss.
Yeah, what's up?
I think you need to kill her.
What are you talking about? Why would I do that? She seems very nice. She's a bit quiet, yes, but she seems very nice.
Yeah, a little too quiet, if you catch my drift.
Well, just because someone's quiet doesn't mean you gotta kill them. I mean, you're pretty quiet and no one's killing you.
Yeah, but quiet, it's really different from silent, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I see.
Oh boy, Rasa would be very pleased. I love it when she's pleased.
Scamp, I thought I was clear about this. I'm not gonna do Rasa's bidding.
Aw, why not? Last time you grew a whole new heart. Who knows what you'll get this time?
Oh boy. Listen, Scampersan, I know you have a tiny little adorable squirrel brain.
Oh, I certainly do.
So maybe it's tough for you to understand what's happening completely, but you're just gonna have to trust me on this one, okay? I know what I'm doing, and I'm looking out for us, for the both of us. You're my friend.
Oh yeah, we're best friends. We'll be even closer friends when we kill her.
Okay, Scamp. I'll think about it.
Matson interjects here. Look, Rin, is it? We just saved your life. I don't know if you noticed that. There's four of us. There's one of you. I think you need our help more than we need your help. So you can come with us, or we can leave you on your own. Up to you. But we got to get a move on here.
Rin, you have to understand, I picked up these vagrants in Shell's Landing, and they're a hodgepodge of characters.
I don't think that's totally fair. She looks over to see Junk with his head in this thing's mouth. Yeah, no, that's completely fair.
But we all look after each other. Who's to say that we can't form a partnership as well for however long you wish to travel with us?
Well, I'm not sure about partnerships that include veiled threats. You don't know me. And I didn't need your help. No one asked you.
I'm sorry, Ren. I apologize. We've been traveling for a long time, and maybe some of us have forgotten some tact along the way, she kicks Matson. But Orny is right. He usually is.
Junk wraps his hand around the foremost largest fang of this dead beast.
Yeah, don't mind Matson. He's always in sort of a mood. Seriously, we would really love to have you join us. You can maybe teach me some rope tricks.
And with that, he tries to rip the tooth out of its jaw.
Give me a athletics check for that.
8 + 6, 14.
The tooth rips out with great ease, as if to punctuate his sentence.
Junk holds the bloody tooth up to the party with glee.
We have one boat, and we do have to travel through Lake Ferris to continue south. If you all recalled the lyrics to the song I was singing earlier, do you have any opinions on which way we should go?
Remind us again which way leads to our certain death.
Oh, every way, according to the song. To the east, legend speaks of a swarm of toxic bees that are collectively known as venom. To the center, a whirlpool that sucks all manner of vessel to the bottom of the lake. And on the western bank, a two-headed liver-eating beast named Mongrel.
We always have the best options.
Yeah, we have fun.
Rin, what path were you thinking of choosing?
It makes no difference to me. Both directions will get me to where I'm going, and there is nothing out there that I cannot handle.
Yeah, I had a pretty bad experience with bees once, so I'm going to go with no on that. We have been tested, and if I may say proven, against beasts of all kinds, so I say we take our chances with this mongrel fellow.
Two-headed beast sounds fun to me.
Oh, good. I'm so pleased with this party's decision-making. Should we all get on the skiff?
Matson gestures towards the dead woman in the water. Does she have anything on her worth taking?
Rin goes over and just sort of pilfers through the upper half of her body.
When you do this, you notice something about this person that you've never noticed before, that her upper body has demonic markings carved into the surface of the skin.
Rin is going to, after she observes that, kick her heartily into the river so that the upper half of her also floats away.
Give me a roll for athletics.
A 9.
It's sort of like a kickball bunt into the river.
So embarrassing.
It does.
I Charlie Brown that pretty hard.
Yeah, it sort of picks up steam, and then it meets her lower half a little bit further down the river.
Junk still stabilizing the little raft.
Well, that was kind of gross. Are we going to be on our way here?
Adeline jumps onto the raft.
Matson jumps on.
Rin walks up to the raft and sort of eyes everyone, particularly Matson. I'm going to travel with you because we seem to be going the same way and serving a similar purpose, but I'm laying some ground rules. There will be no more threats, veiled or otherwise, towards me, and no more challenges of my ability or strength, because this could turn very quickly. Is that understood?
The way I see it, we've brought you onto our raft. I don't see how you're in any position to be making rules.
Junk rolls his eyes and reaches his hand out to cover Matson's mouth. With his hand over his mouth, Junk says,
What he means is that'll be fine.
That's what I thought.
and then Junk looks to Matson like, come on, dude.
Matson shoves Junk's hand away from his mouth, but he keeps his eyes trained still on Rin the whole time.
Okay, great. Orny, can you reactivate the guidance spell you were using earlier?
Yes, if someone could just shove off.
How rude.
You know what I mean.
Orny smiles and pulls out a glass vial filled with dark ink. Orny actually formulated this ink of directional intent after observing Fen Farrell use his guidance spell outside of Sansi Village. He applies this directional ink on his hands again, and then he picks up the oar.
You know, isn't my brother just the best?
Junk shoves off, using all of his strength to push the raft out into deeper waters. And he's looking back at the beast, and he goes,
you know what? I should have took more teeth.
Oh, surprisingly, no part of a mercantile has ever been discovered to be alchemically beneficial.
No, but some parts have been discovered to be stabby.
True. It doesn't take long for the Sansi River to open up into Lake Ferris. The largest lake in all of Rymor, it's incredibly wide, deep blue, and it has a calm surface. Aided by the ink of directional intent, the skiff steers to hug the eastern shore.
Junk sits and settles in. He looks over to Rin and smiles and nods, thinking about what Scampersan told him. He's fearful to just outright ask her if she is indeed a silent sister or not, So instead, he pulls out his statue of Darkshaleen and is just playing with it, trying to bait her.
She definitely notices him pull the statue out. She's going to go over to Junk and sit down next to him. What is that you have there?
This is a statue I like. It's nice, right? I think it's made of something expensive, like black iron, or maybe...
Obsidian?
Yeah.
He has no idea what obsidian is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's definitely obsidian. Yeah, that's what it is.
As you guys are talking, Scampersand is making gestures like slit her throat.
Can I see that?
You can definitely notice it.
Is there something wrong with your squirrel friend?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot wrong with him, but he's a good little squirrel. Don't pay any attention to him. But do you know who this is?
He holds the statue over.
Oh, do you not know who it is?
Yeah, I'm led to believe it's a goddess.
Rin is going to try to intimidate Junk just by looking at him. That's a 10.
When she looks at you, you get a very clear "do not fuck with me" message from her.
So Junk sees this vibe that she's throwing his way, looks back down at the statue and says to her,
You know, a part of me feels like I owe her one.
What would you owe her?
I don't really know, just something.
Well, I think the journey you are on, you might be inadvertently doing her a favor.
Oh, well, that's good.
Junk braces himself, a bit scared of the reaction he might get.
Have you ever heard of the Silent Sisters?
Yes, I've heard of them.
They're pretty badass. One of the most talented and strong-willed fighters I've ever witnessed was a Silent Sister. She fought with this spear-like weapon and handled it quite expertly, actually. In fact, she was just as good with that as you seem to be with this rope knife contraption.
Right. What was this woman's name?
The Junk hesitates.
If I remember correctly, she was called Janessa.
Rin's expression shifts really hard, and it looks as if she's just been punched in the stomach. Where did you see this woman?
In the castle of King's Promise.
That's where he killed her. Snapped her neck with his bare hands.
Junk shoots Matson an angry look, but as quick as he does that, the guilt of it all falls over him, and he sinks back to his position.
Yeah, she fought incredibly and honorably. More honorably than I did.
Her eyes are that piercing gray, but in this moment, they sort of look like they're on fire. And you can see all of the white around her iris. And she very slowly reaches out and takes the totem out of your hand, stands up, and walks to the other side of the raft and just stares out at the water.
Even Junk has enough wherewithal to put together that she knew Janessa. Feeling the need to explain himself, he gets up and follows her to the other side of the raft.
This is the side of the raft that Orny and Adeline are currently on, and when they see you, they kind of scoot over to the other side. Well, we're steering over here.
So, I assume you knew her.
She doesn't say anything.
Listen, it's not as simple as it sounds. You have to understand, she stood in our way, and it all just played out the way it did, and I needed to get back something, and
You snuffed out one of the most beautiful souls in this entire world.
I'm sorry, she clearly meant a lot to you. Listen, I know that you have no reason to believe me, but I plan to pay back Darkshaleen for what I've done, and to right my wrongs.
Junk leans down and touches the back of his neck, revealing the mark of Rasa to her.
Rin takes a quick step back, seeing that.
Killing Janessa wasn't the only mistake I made.
Are you promised to Rasa?
I'm promised to nobody.
But you bear the mark?
If I may, that was an effect of Junk dying. He got pushed on a sacrificial spike at a temple to Rasa. As I worked diligently on a potion of resurrection, Junk was offered a second chance at life by the demon goddess herself, which he took, rather than trust in my alchemical skill. Not that I'm bitter about it or anything. It was a choice. He made a choice.
I'm not proud of it. I was afraid. Truly, I didn't want to leave my friends. I would have died.
You should have.
Yeah, I agree. I agree more and more every day I wake up with this thing on my neck.
Miss Rin, And I apologize for eavesdropping, but we are sharing a small skiff. Can I ask you, who did you serve?
Well, I like to think I still serve Dark Shalene, though she has stopped whispering to me after sending me on this quest.
What quest is that?
I was committed to servitude to the Duke Regent, Doran Pentagrath.
Oh, we read his play.
Yes, he is the worst writer I've ever known.
I thought his play was quite good, but
Oh, it was atrocious.
I'm so sorry you had to serve someone silently who you couldn't criticize the writing of, let alone from 6 years old.
You know a little bit about everything, don't you?
Oh, yes, I'm very old. I told you, I'm a Kelber. You know, I'm a Kelber. That's my secret, even though I'm wearing this fancy new robe. It's a child's robe from Sansi Village. And I know that you are a former Silent Sister. I've never known a former Silent Sister, because anyone who's a former Silent Sister is usually dead.
It was dire circumstances that we had to bend the rules a little bit, as it were.
Is it because Doran Pentagrath is serving the gnomes now?
Yes, he left me alone in his manor, which is not something I anticipated and found it quite strange, so I began looking around his abode, looking for clues of why he might have left me behind. And that's when I found his plans with the gnomish necromancers to bring about this zombified, pieced together god to destroy the world. And Dark Shalene was always with me in my mind. She saw these things too, and she whispered to me and made it known that I had to break my vows and my commitment to her in order to stop all of this. So that is why I'm able to speak to you and why I'm not dead, as you say I might should be.
Oh, I don't think you should be. I think it's quite fortuitous that we've run into each other.
yeah, what he said.
And as we journey to Brayfrost, I can't help but feel conspicuous traveling with a human and a shadow elf and a half-orcan. Having a Silent Sister, who is believed to serve an ally to the gnomes alongside us, would only aid in our forthcoming infiltration.
I see your point, and I do agree that this is a good plan, and it does seem like we are on the same path.
Junk looks at her when she says that and attempts to find common ground.
She shoots him a look of detest and agony and suspicion and all horrible things.
He reaches his hand out, gesturing in hopes she'll give back his statue of Dark Shalene.
She shakes her head no. It's not for you. As long as you bear that mark of Rasa, you do not deserve to touch this totem.
And at this moment, the raft suddenly lurches towards the eastern shore, picking up speed, apparently against the will of Orny's ink of directional intent.
I don't know what's happening. It's pulling us towards the coast.
Matson gets up to help steer.
And it's to no avail. The water is rushing due to this side tributary that has choppy white water.
Hold on to your hats.
Junk grabs his bowler and then puts one finger on Scampersand's little top hat.
It's a struggle at first, but this white water settles after a short drop into a more tranquil stream. There is low-hanging moss and a dark canopy. Orny and Rin both feel the dread of entering what they believe to be Mongrel's lair.
Junk steadies himself on this small skiff after nearly falling off, and he's crouching as low as he can to steer clear of the low-hanging moss from hitting him in the face.
All right. Everyone just stay quiet, especially you, Rin. I had that joke in my back pocket for a while.
So the raft drifts quietly down this stream. The plant life in this area is notably overgrown with a bamboo-like plant that has large orange flowers. It's so thick, it actually masks any movement of animals that might be seen, but you do hear a creaking from within the overgrowth that makes you fear that something very large is near.
Adeline holds her hand up on the ready to grab her bow if necessary.
Junk is going to roll for 6 sense to see if he can sense anything in the darkness or...
Yes.
It's a 15.
There is definitely an incredibly large presence that is lurking on the left side of your river as you're heading south.
Okay, bad news. I can sense something incredibly large along the bank of the river over there. But good news, I'm also quite large, so maybe we'll be fine.
On this left side of the stream, an area exposes itself where the overgrowth is crunched and flattened as if from the weight of something large.
Ooh.
Beyond the low bank is a short cliff face. It's covered in a tangle of roots that climb up to higher ground. Suddenly, plant stalks crack, footsteps thud, and in a flash of brown fur, Mongrel is standing before you. He's 18 feet tall. Jeez. He has a large head and a smaller off-center head beside it. Both glow with terrifying red eyes. He is straddling the stream to stand in your path, and he emits a cacophonous, harmonically dissonant roar. Everyone now must roll for initiative.
19 for Matson.
17 for Junk.
12 for Ren.
9 for Adeline.
Instantly, the front corner of the skiff collides with Mongrel's shin, causing the skiff to spiral into the bank of the river. Orny seems to have anticipated this because he leaps to the shore and he starts to run directly to the cliff face.
Nobody panic! Just cover me! I know how to defeat him!
And it is Matson's turn to act.
Matson is going to leap onto the bank, drawing his daggers and trying to get Mongrel's attention, get it away from Orny. And I'm going to use my taunt and riposte.
Then it is Junk's turn to act.
Junk leaps off of the skiff, turns to the party. Don't worry, guys. I got this. And he is going to run at a full clip using his tried and true Rage Wind attack. That is 11 for 7 damage with a chance to stagger.
Junk swings his Warhound 4 times, striking Mongrel for 6 damage each time for 24 total. Nice. Chunks of Mongrel's thigh meat flies off upon this bludgeoning contact. But as Junk regroups, he notices that Mongrel's flesh is starting to regrow, and you fear that this beast might not retain the damage it receives.
Are you guys seeing this?
And it's Rin's turn to act.
Ren is going to use her rope dart to attempt to leg trip and drag.
Okay.
Wrap it around the Mongrel's ankle and pull as hard as she can to try and knock him prone.
Sure.
10. For 3 damage.
Rin whips her rope dart around the beast's ankle, and while the dart does cut into his flesh, she doesn't have enough strength to pull him down. Instead, she's connected to him like she's going to take him for an awkward walk. Mongrel widely ignores Rin's leash. Recalling Matson's taunt, he attempts a sweeping backhand, but Matson is ready for him.
Yeah. Oh boy. That's a 1.
Mongrel sweeps down at Matson. Matson does a leaping attack where he attempts to do like the coolest flip you've ever seen while slicing upwards right at the beast's arm. The knife misses and Matson's flip continues, and so that he nosedives right into the stream and hits bedrock beneath the water for 2 damage against his own forehead, and he emerges bleeding and dazed from that attempt at riposte.
This is no time for a swim, Matson. Get up.
And it is Adeline's turn.
Adeline, observing this creature's self-healing and hoping Orny is fast at work at whatever his plan is, decides, you know what the heck, and she's going to use a charm arrow. 14 for 6.
The arrow sails through the air and does connect with Mongrel for 6 damage, emitting a heart cloud when it strikes his shoulder. The beast purrs for a second, but you notice something unusual has happened, that it's the smaller head is charmed and likes you, but the giant beast that controls the body is actually still your enemy. But the little head is giving you doe eyes, like it loves you.
So disturbing.
Oh, well, that is not what I planned at all.
During this time, Orny has made it about halfway up the cliff face via the root structure.
Junk notices this and yells at him,
Be careful, Orny.
Oh, yes, I've climbed taller levers than this before.
And it is Matson's turn next.
Matson finds a little shadowy area to make himself scarce, so that in the next turn I can use my jackknife attack to do a backstab.
And it is Rin's turn to act next.
Ren is going to attempt to hit him with a poison dart. That is a 16 to hit. 4 damage.
Rin releases her rope dart from Mongrel rapidly. It flies back with its tip landing expertly into a bottle of acidic poison that she keeps handy. Then she throws the dart back. When it embeds in Mongrel's flesh, Rin can see with great satisfaction that the poison begins to course through his veins that will deal 2 damage with every one of the beast's attack.
Nice.
As such, Mongrel takes this damage immediately as he drops to all fours, prepping a shoulder tackle towards Rin. As it takes off, the charmed head looks back at Adeline, swooning, as if to say, I miss you already. And this is a pretty devastating attack. Give me a roll of defense just to see what you might be able to hold off against it.
13.
When Mongrel makes contact with Rin, the force is incredible. It sends her sailing backwards into a thicket of overgrowth, breaking stalks, but luckily not bones, for a heavy 12 damage. Adding insult to injury, falling pollen rains upon her body. Unfortunately for Rin, her caveat is that she's allergic to most plants. And it is Adeline's turn to act again.
Adeline is feeling a little weary at this point, but still hopeful about Orny's plan, and not really believing any of her arrows are going to be of help at this point, and knowing it's just going to heal. She whips out very confidently a wandfish.
Yes.
Which has been enchanted with Frighten in an attempt to frighten the head that's controlling the body. 16 for 18.
Mongrel unfortunately resists this attempt to frighten. The smaller head looks back at you with your little wandfish, just like, oh, what are you doing with that wand? Like, look at you. But nothing appears to have happened. You look past Mongrel, who's pulling himself up to his full height, and you see that Orny has made it up to the top of this small cliff. And it looks like there's a weathered gravestone up there at the top. Orny has pulled out a small trowel and has begun digging into the dirt. Keep going. Fight better. And it is Motson's turn for his jackknife attack.
Here I come, you ugly son of a bitch. That's a 15 accuracy, and then 9 and 5.
Because Mongrel's facing away from Motson, Motson takes this opportunity to leap onto Mongrel's back. He lands, stabbing into Mongrel's lower spine, and climbs with his knives for an additional stab, 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 stab. This critical damage would mean death for most beasts, but Mongrel only bellows in pain and thrashes, forcing you to drop to safety. And it is Junk's turn to act.
Okay, so under the assumption that whatever Orny is doing will take a little bit more time, he wants to use Bide. And the way that he's going to ensure Mongrel's attack is by moving across the river through the water away from Orny and the rest of the party and pull out his lovely new crystal piccolo. And he's going to start doing this ridiculous dance while yelling and playing it.
Hey, over here, dum-dum. Yeah, look at me.
Yeah, this is an interesting choice for a distraction, and I'm going to tell you why. When Junk begins to play the blue crystal piccolo, a sprightly melody accompanies the glowing spirit of a shepherd with a long beard wandering out of the trees. He enters from behind Junk and passes through him, holding a hooked staff. He holds it up in the air. This action sounds the arrival of dozens of hounds running through the woods and attacking Mongrel like a vicious pack of trained animals.
Oh my
They
God.
snap and climb and tear flesh from Mongrel's bones, leaving him a near skeletal walking corpse. The shepherd then tips his hat. He and his hounds vanish into thin air, and the piccolo shatters in Junk's hand. For the record, that did 56 damage.
Shit.
Oh.
Junk is so absolutely flabbergasted that his hands are still up in the position of playing the piccolo, even though it is in pieces, shattered on the ground. His mouth is wide open and his eyebrows are like way up on his head. He has the biggest expression of joy you've ever seen on him.
Rin picks herself up from her position just in time to see this and probably thinks that she's on drugs or something.
This is the craziest allergic reaction I have ever had.
And it is Rin's turn next.
What Ren is hoping to do is to get out of the bramble and get enough of an angle to lay a trap, like a trip line.
That's a critical failure.
I'm still sneezing is what I imagine is happening.
Yeah, maybe because Rin is still shaking off her allergies, her aim is a little off. Her rope dart collides with Mongrel's exposed bone and ricochets to one side for no damage. Mongrel ignores this action, drawn by Junk's bite attack. He returns to all fours for a second shoulder tackle. Though his tissues are regrowing, currently almost half of his original mass is missing. And I need Junk to roll for defense.
That's a 6 for defense.
Junk, still stunned and still in piccolo playing position, is wide open for Mongrel's attack, which slams him against a wall of overgrowth for a heavy 9 damage.
This snaps Junk out of his magic piccolo trance that he was in, and he looks up to the monster as he collects himself.
Oh, come on. They put you in a song? Orny's hit me harder trying to wake me up.
From there, it is Adeline's turn.
Whatever you're doing, can you pick up the pace, Orny?
I'm digging as fast as I can.
I know, I'm sorry. Just please hurry, okay? At this point, Adeline's going to try Charm again, I guess, and she's aiming for the head that controls the body. That's 6 for 6.
Adeline's arrow penetrates a morsel of dangling flesh, tears it from the bone, and then pins it to the earth. And maybe that piece of flesh is charmed, but it's just pinned to the ground on the behind him.
You know, if you keep resisting my charms, I'm going to start taking it personally.
At this point, Orny has made significant progress in his digging. He strikes something hard and glowing. As this orange glow glints on his glasses, he says,
That's right. Come to Papa.
Mongrel cries out in rage and immediately begins to lumber towards Orny. And it's Matsun's turn next.
Matsun is going through his entire inventory in his head, seeing what he could possibly do, not coming up with anything, so he's just going to try to take a slice at a leg.
That's 3 attack roll for 5 and 5 damage.
Between indecision and execution, Mongrel moves out of Matsun's attack radius, and his blades only sadly whiff through the air. Mongrel reaches the top of the cliff to meet Orny face to face. He delivers a deafening roar that makes Orny's elderly skin ripple.
Ooh.
Suddenly, a familiar bird's call is heard. It's a teal-winged, golden-breasted bird of prey that sails in from above, and it spits acid down Mongrel's back for incredible damage.
Yes!
Both saving Orny and leaving Mongrel prone for Junk's attack.
Whoa, was that Ralph? Hey, you remember Ralph Matsun, right? You love that guy.
And Junk rushes behind the beast, leaps up in the air with all of his ability, and he wants to smash his warhammer down on its spine with all of his might. That's only a 4 accuracy, but for 20 damage.
Orny jabs his trowel into the glowing pit as Junk brings his warhammer down upon Mongrel with enough force to splinter bone.
Yeah.
Beast falls dead. All around you, the overgrown plant instantly withers and dies. Interestingly, Mongrel's body morphs, becoming not the corpse of the beast that you know, but of a male gnome and a yeti, complete with the mounted riding carriage that you've seen before.
Junk sees the 2 on the ground, puts his warhammer back, and goes,
That counts for 2. I got both of them. That's 2 for me.
Wait, what just happened?
Orny has just finished climbing down from the cliff face, and he says to Adeline,
Well, that is an excellent and intriguing question. Oh, look, it's Ralph.
and Ralph, Nora's bird, flies down and lands right next to Matsun and just stares into him and holds out his foot, and there's a note around its ankle.
Matsun backs up. I can see that there's a note there, but somebody else can get it.
Really, Matsun, still? Adeline walks over to Ralph and gently pets his pretty feathers and takes the note off of his foot.
At first glance, you notice it is indeed a handwritten note from Nora.
It's a note from Nora.
Well, what does it say?
She's going to read it to the group.
The note reads,
Hey, Matsun, Orny, Junk, and Adeline, if you're all still alive. I hope Ralph found you. The necklace I gave Matsun has my scent, so hopefully you kept it and Ralph didn't deliver this to a garbage can in Jurholland or wherever the fuck you are. My position at the Rookery in Cragshore has become annoyingly important as an information hub between Silverhammer and Norrance. I picked up some info you might want to know. Yeah, I read the letters. Whatever. During a skirmish south of Silverhammer between Gnome General Cassidri and Kelber Goro's forces, a soldier noticed something weird about some of the Gnome and Yeti's helmets. They have blue rocks like the one that made my brother crazy, or crazier. And when the soldier knocked off one of the Gnome's helmets, it instantly became a corpse. Basically, the Gnomes are bolstering their forces with zombies and using stones as source magic to sustain the necromancy. So, yeah, watch out for that. Nora. P.S. Junk, I expect to find your old-ass horse dead every day, but he's still going strong. Maybe he's a zombie too.
Oh!
Yeah. Adorable.
Oh, this is not good. This is really not good.
What do you mean it's not good? Horse is still alive.
No, I mean, it's great horses alive. I'm talking about the army of zombies.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, that's not good.
Is that what happened here with this mongrel? Is that some other kind of magic, do you think, Orny?
Some other kind of magic. I had a suspicion that since Mongrel's tissues regrew and he had a taste for liver, that his condition might be a result of the rampant tuber flower growing in his lair. Tuber flowers are an alchemical ingredient that are fundamental in tissue and organ regrowth potions. He's picking up the withered orange flowers as he says this. I thought that if I destroyed the central heart of this plant system, it would assist in Mongrel's destruction.
Regrowth potions, eh?
Junk, hearing this, reaches down and grabs some of the dry flour and then immediately just throws it in his mouth.
No, Junk, no. Ugh. Junk, you need to stop just eating things.
But things are good.
No, things aren't always good.
Is that how that's supposed to happen?
It's certainly not how it works.
I got hurt and I was trying to make myself feel better. You said this stuff makes you feel better.
Well, I could just give you a healing tonic.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea, too.
And Rin, you have been sneezing. Would you like a potion of cure condition?
I think now that the plant is withered up, my sneezing has subsided.
You know, that's actually the reason I destroyed the plant. I was feeling for your allergies there.
Junk has his hand out, like saying, give me a potion.
All right, here's a potion.
Junk takes it, pops the cork off, and drinks it.
Cures him for +6.
Junk finishes the elixir and throws the bottle over his shoulder.
Don't litter. He runs over to grab it. I can reuse these, you know.
Oh, sorry.
Well, now that we have fought alongside each other, I think perhaps I can impart this knowledge upon you. And Rin holds out the map to show the group. So we're actually, if we go down the river just a little bit more, we can dock here and then head towards the first landmark.
And this will lead us to Rasa's sanctum.
Why are we going to Rasa's sanctum?
Junk reaches out and takes the map, noticing that there is actually a letter on the other side. He turns it over and looks at her like, is it okay that I read this?
She nods.
Rasa in all her glory will reward you for your part in this deception. Rasa's sanctum is no place. The key to her undoing lies within. Well, I think we should get going.
And he hands her the letter and the map back.
Is there any other reason you would want to go to this temple? Perhaps to worship your true deity, Rasa?
All right. What do I have to do to prove to you?
Junk pulls out the tooth of the mercadile, and he holds it up and steps to Rin, staring at her really intensely.
I worship no one.
And he takes the tooth, bends over, and he carves the tooth across the mark of Rasa, cutting through his own flesh.
This action is incredibly displeasing to the demon goddess Rasa, and she punishes you by filling your heart with this incredible burning sensation.
Well, I'd say that's a good start.
He nods in this extreme pain that Rasa is putting him in, doing everything he can not to show it. He then turns and walks back towards the skiff.
And as he walks away, the party can see, much like the beast mongrel that they just defeated, Junk's scar heals itself, not so easily dashed away.
Ren looks at the rest of the party. He is not simply just a worshiper of Rasa, is he? He's something more than that.
He's just Junk. And Adeline starts to follow, gesturing for the rest of the party to join.
As they're walking back to the boat, Ren looks hesitantly at everybody and then says, everybody else saw like those ghost dogs, right?
Yes, what was that?
Okay, great. Great. I thought I was very high.
And I think that's a good enough spot to stop this first half of our chapter. Wow, what an adventure we're on here. We took down this weird amalgamous Yeti gnome. And Rin, man, whoo, we're in the shit, you and I.
Listen,
I'm excited.
One of us is going to die.
I am excited to see where this goes. Paul, how much XP do we get for our adventures today?
Oh, you guys got a full 550 for defeating Mongrel. He was tough.
550 in total, which brings us to 5650.
5650.
Oh boy,
You're heading towards another level up.
Thank you so much for joining us for this this first part of this chapter. I'm fucking thrilled. That's all I'm gonna say. Make sure that you are following Havanarama on all social media at Havanarama, and tell us about Twitch.
Twitch is an online platform.
I knew you were gonna do that. I knew you were gonna do that.
I stream 5 days a week on Twitch. I do variety games of all different sorts. I do a lot of RPGs, but I do indie titles and sort of co-op survival and scary games and everything in between. And yeah, we have a lot of fun. The focus of my channel is sort of community, inclusion, and humor. We just play a lot and focus on communicating with each other and building rapport and creating a safe and friendly environment for people to hang out and
Super
have fun.
awesome.
And
well, I hope
enjoy
everybody
games.
can check that out. And before we wrap up, just a little bit of that business. Make sure you're checking out D&DWpod.com for exclusive audio that you won't hear, including us shopping in Sansi Village and us maybe performing a play written by Rin's former master, which was quite erotic. So make sure you're checking out D&DWpod.com, as well as follow at D&DWpod on all social media. Hey, do you like the show? Do you want to support the show? Pick up an awesome D&DW pod inspired t-shirt or mug at dragonwagonshop.com. Also, leave us a rating and review. It's a great way to, help the show get into some people's ears. And also, it's that way. And also, by leaving a review, you are automatically entered to win one of our roundtable giveaways, which is, who doesn't like winning? It's free stuff. Everybody loves free stuff. So with that said, we thank you so much for joining us once again. Paul, say goodbye to the people. Toodaloo. Havana, say goodbye to the people.
I'll see you later.
Matthew.
So long.
Alexandra.
Hasta luego.
My name is Jake Lloyd. We will see you next quest.
It's Dragon Wagon.
Yes, he left me alone in his manor without...
House party.
I did throw a very rocking party.
Excellent.
But no one talked to him, so... Just a bunch of silences. It's like those silent raves in the woods where everybody has headphones on.